and Brad, the two most famous physical therapists on the internet.
Hi folks, I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical therapist.
We are the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
In our opinion, of course, Bob.
Brad, today you want to talk about sciatica pain and what one of the most important steps as we as therapists take to help it cure it.
Yeah,
right?
as a matter of fact, after this video, there are going to be therapists all over the world being upset with us because we're giving so much information on how to cure them and take care of themselves. We're going to run ourselves out of a job.
We're becoming irrelevant.
And this is something that I would say 100% of the therapists always start out with. They start out with a piece of paper so they can jot some notes down because they don't have really good memories, and they need that information to treat not only the day they treat them, but when people come back the next week or the next month, and so they can review what was going on then and how to change or modify or correct the treatment then.
Right.
And we've got here an easel, and here's the magic right here. This is going to give the outline for the secret.
Well, you got to show first, Brad, what's underneath, right?
Yeah, we got to show this.
This is an old sign that we used outside of one of our practices from quite a few years ago. So
Right.
just kind of was a sandwich board that kind of indicated that we provided outpatient physical therapy at this site. So
Right, and there's a lot of people who may not have seen our videos at all yet,
yeah, if
Bob.
you're new to our channel, please take a second to subscribe to us. Our subscribe button's over there somewhere. We provide lots of videos on how to stay healthy, fit, pain-free, and we upload every day.
Right, and we're good because, as you can see,
We're good.
we don't have gray hair in here. This is old pictures. We got a total of more than 50 years experience going on this.
No.
So,
All right, let's flip it around.
here it is. This is it. Now, if you've got back pain, we're talking about sciatica in this case, typically from a low back problem that the pain and symptoms run down the leg. And we're going to do a little role playing here. I'm going to be the therapist. Bob is going to be the patient. He's got, what do you got, Bob? He's going to make up some
Oh, I'm having pain in my back, and then this also goes down into my butt, and then it goes down the back leg, and it goes all the way into my calf, and even goes into the foot sometimes, Brad.
So what kind of work do you do, Bob?
I work, I have a desk job. I'm sitting all day.
Okay.
So,
and how long you been doing this job, Bob?
oh, I'd say for 25 years now. I've
Okay.
been, you know,
And then what other activities do you do, like after work? I mean, you go home and you...
I like to sit on the couch. I like to watch TV.
Any chores? I mean, does your wife make you do anything, Bob?
Once in a while I have to, pick up my clothes because I throw them on the floor. But
Okay, we'll get
a lot
more
of seated activities. I
Okay,
do.
so I'm thinking as a therapist, he's sitting a lot. I'm going to keep that in the back of my head. I'm not going to not make any conclusions. Now, the next thing is, Bob, when did this start?
This started about 2 months ago, and
Okay.
I don't remember even doing anything.
So
it
it
just
kind
started
of
on
just came
on suddenly without any
no
provocation.
apparent reason.
No.
So here's my board. I'm going to write this down. Date started. There's going to be a question mark. Known cause. There isn't a known cause. So we're going to put a 0 with a line to it. But if there is a known cause, let's say it was from a specific date, you're going to write this down because remember, you're doing this to yourself. You have your piece of paper there. You write this down. If it's a specific date or the week it started, write it down. If it was the middle of January and it's now February, write it down. And now, Bob, as far as pain level, now I know with symptoms down your leg, it's not always pain. I call it symptoms. It could be numbness, tingling, or burning, anything that's not normal. And I want to give you a pain scale, 0 to 10. 0 means zero pain. 10 means so much pain or problems that you want to go to the emergency room right now. So we're at extremes. What would you say your worst number is overall?
Oh, it's 10 plus, Brad.
Okay, and a lot of people will
They'll
say 10
say that.
plus. But we know that
That's not really true.
because they're not in the ER. But
Right.
we're gonna say, okay, at its worst, it's 9 over 10.
Yeah.
And then on a minimum, I mean, do you have time when you have no symptoms?
Boy, it doesn't seem like too many, but it might get down to a 5.
Okay, so we're going. Minimum is 5, maximum is 9 over 10, and on the average throughout the day, what would you say it is?
It's like a 7 or an 8.
Okay,
It's bad.
all right, I'm gonna put an 8 there.
It's right there right now. It's around an 8 right
Okay.
now.
Now what you're going to do at home, we have charts that are all printed up like this professionally, but no problem. I've done this. If I don't have my charts, I get a piece of paper and I'll scribble out a body like this, and I'll have the patient, I say, draw in where you feel the pain or the symptoms.
Well, I feel it across my back,
Yep.
like this, all the way across the back. and then it goes down into my butt
Okay.
on the left side here, and then all the way down the back of the leg, and then into the calf, and even to the bottom of my foot a little bit.
Does it go up into the toes?
No.
Okay,
no,
nothing into the
just
toes.
to the bottom of the foot.
Okay. Now, if you're doing this to yourself, you want to be very specific. And that's why I asked Bob, does it go into the toes? Because that's important to know as far as future progress. And draw it out there so you can see it and it's clear, and then we're done with that section.
I mean, as an overview, Brad, can we say here, because one of the things we're looking for is we're trying to figure out what things are going to help decrease your pain,
Right.
and what things are going to help increase your pain.
Right.
So it's really important to know that in treating this sciatica problem.
And that's the next question I'm going to ask.
Okay.
Bob, I got a column here. It says worse. What activities or postures make this worse that you know is going to make the pain down the leg or the
I
symptoms?
definitely know when I'm sitting, it seems like it just gets worse and
Okay.
worse.
So sitting, anything else make it worse?
Well, when I'm lifting things, I can definitely feel it then too.
Okay.
And you know, when I do the riding lawnmower, I guess that's sitting again.
Okay.
Or in my car.
Okay. And you're going to go through everything that you can think of. Now, what Bob and I find out with a lot of patients will say everything makes it worse
Right.
because it's pretty flared up, and that may be true, but you'll find out if you think about it for the next few days, oh yeah, sitting in the car is quite a bit worse than sitting in the kitchen chair, or sitting in the couch is a lot worse than sitting in the kitchen chair. So you're going to write that specific down. You're going to get a list of things that make it worse. Bob, what things make it better?
Well, and a lot of times patients will say nothing. But
Right.
when you ask them, well, when you lay down at night, does that get better? Yeah, it calms down. So it is better with laying down.
So, right, if it's anything that makes it better, or at the end of the treatment, they'll bring up some, oh yeah, well, when I walked, I was in the grocery store
Yeah.
walking, it actually felt a little bit better, and I didn't think of that.
Or when I was walking behind the grocery cart, it felt better.
Right.
Or when I put ice on it, it felt better.
Right, exactly.
So-
there's a number of different things that once you think about it, you're going to find, oh, it does feel better when I put weight on this leg and not the other leg.
A lot of times it helps just to kind of go through your day, picture your day, what you're doing at each time, and thinking about, am I having pain then?
Right.
Or as you go through your day, keep a little notebook and write down
Exactly.
what your pain levels are at. It's
Now-
very, very revealing.
Right, and this sounds like, if you're not a therapist, you're going to say, I'm not so sure this is important, but this can oftentimes be the most important information to get this better.
It can actually really help your therapist if you are seeing a therapist,
Right, exactly.
I've had patients keep a journal, because I've had some people say, well, it gets up to a 10, and then I see on the journal, the 10 only lasts for 2 seconds.
Right.
That's almost irrelevant.
Right.
So,
but still good to know, depending on what they're doing.
Right.
And then the next step is, now this is important, you need to avoid everything in the red column over here. Anything that makes it worse, avoid it or modify it. So if sitting makes it worse, you're going to change, and you have to sit to work, for example, you're going to change how you sit and make it better. You might use a lumbar support. We've got videos on that. You may, if you have the option, like Bob and I, we have the option to actually stand while we work as opposed to sit, or use a stool so you don't have to sit
Brad
so
and I both
low.
had episodes where we had back pain. I was a student of physical therapy at the time. I was seeing patients, and I would just go to the counter and I'd write my notes on the counter.
As opposed to sitting.
As opposed to sitting down, because sitting made it worse.
Right.
And if you avoid that thing that makes it worse, a lot of times it'll start to calm down.
Exactly.
So it's really important that you.
I'm working with a patient right now. Sitting in the couch bothered her, and she would sit long sitting like this on the floor.
Oh.
She's got 2 herniated discs. So I told her, absolutely no sitting on the couch, absolutely no sitting on the floor. You're going to sit on firm chairs. 2 days later, she's 45% better.
Right. Just by the simple thing where they,
Right.
the old doctor joke, it hurts when I do this. Well, stop doing that.
Exactly.
I mean, it really is as simple as that.
You can save
sometimes.
yourself a lot of money by taking your time to do this. A lot of money and time, so you don't have to go to see the therapist or the doctor.
So a modification in the chair would be maybe to use a lumbar roll, Brad?
Exactly. Where's our lumbar roll? We just had it, Bob.
So you're going to sit down in the chair. You're going to make sure you're not slouching, and you're going to go ahead and put the roll in the back. And as Brad was just saying in one of our previous videos, is that a lot of your cars now come with lumbar rolls or lumbar supports built into it. You just need to find the button for it or a little roller.
How to actuate it, exactly.
So that's going to help put your back in a better position for sciatica and help it heal.
Right, because you got to drive to work. You're going to have to modify how you sit when you drive if that irritates it, which oftentimes does.
Again, sitting often does, and that's why we often will say to people, avoid sitting as much as possible, either stand up or lay down.
Right.
So,
and then you go to the list that makes it better, and you're going to do that more often. If it feels good walking, you're going to walk more.
Absolutely.
On the flat, not uphill or downhill. There's a few things that I wanted to touch more on, Bob, but we're running out of time. But this is so critical. And then the exercises are going to append this or actually coordinate with this. But you need to do this part first. Go and watch our videos. We've got a nice playlist on sciatica that's going to help you.
I'll try to do that
out.
at the end again here.
Okay, right.
And yeah, we're doing the same thing with the exercises. Do they make the pain better? Do they lessen the pain? Do they make it more narrowed up? Do they bring it more focal?
Do the exercises that give positive results. It sounds simple, but it's very critical.
It's not no pain, no gain. That's not in sciatica.
Exactly.
That's not the stain to use.
Then you take this piece of paper, which I have right here instead of on here, and you're going to save that paper. You're going to put it away. You're going to follow what you've been doing, and you're going to, maybe in a week from now, you're going to find out, oh, I'm feeling better. And then you look back on here and say, oh yeah, I forgot that I had pain all the way down to my foot, and now it's only halfway down to my knee. So you change from there to there, big progress. The back pain only hurts a little bit. You're at 9/10, and now you're down to 4/10, and you forgot about this because you're getting on with your life again, and you'll feel so much better because you realize what kind of progress
Remember
you're
the old
making.
saying, Brad, pale ink is better than the strongest memory.
Pale? Bob, you're incredulous.
Yeah. All right.
We got to get going, Bob. We got work to do.
Thanks for watching.